Want you to pause for a moment and really notice your body. Do you remember the last time you stood up from a chair and felt your legs tremble just a little? Or that moment climbing the stairs when you had to grab the railing because your knees felt weak? Maybe you told yourself, it's just age catching up with me. But I want to be honest with you. It's not just age. It's muscle loss, what we call sarcopenia, a silent thief that steals our strength bit by bit, often without warning. After the age of 60, the human body naturally loses about 8% of its muscle mass every decade. That might sound small, but think about it. 10 years ago, you could easily lift a 20-pound bag of rice. Now it might feel like a struggle just climbing a single flight of stairs, carrying groceries, or reaching overhead can suddenly feel like a challenge. I've seen so many patients walk into my office frustrated, saying, "Doctor, I don't understand why I'm getting weak so quickly." But the issue isn't just about feeling strong or not. Muscle loss makes everything harder and riskier. Getting up from the toilet, climbing into bed, even standing for a while can become exhausting. And then there are the falls. One slip can mean months of immobility, sometimes changing the entire course of a person's later life. I once had a patient, Richard, 74, who loved tending his garden. One day, he bent down to water his plants and couldn't stand back up. Tests showed he'd lost over 20% of his muscle mass in just a decade and had no idea. What's heartbreaking is how many people think this is simply fate. But after more than 30 years as a physician, I know there are deeper reasons behind that decline, and there are ways to fight back. Muscle doesn't just fade because of age. It weakens because collagen production slows down, leaving the body's scaffolding fragile. It's because circulation declines. Blood vessels that were once supple become sluggish, failing to deliver enough oxygen and nutrients to keep fibers strong. It's because of silent inflammation and oxidative stress, quietly damaging cells. Imagine a machine no longer oiled, tiny rust creeping into every joint, slow, heavy, easier to break. That's what happens inside us when aging is left unattended. But here's something vital I want you to hold on to. This is not a one-way road. We can slow it, even regain some of the strength we've lost. I've seen patients who once struggled to stand unassisted walk again, climb stairs, even ride bikes with their grandkids. The secret wasn't expensive medication or punishing exercise. It was small, consistent choices, especially how they nourish their bodies. I remember asking Mary, a 68-year-old patient, how it felt when weakness crept in. She smiled sadly and said, "I'm afraid of losing my independence, doctor. Afraid of needing help with the little things. That fear is something I've heard countless times." But Mary returned just a few months later looking transformed, stronger, more confident, because of some surprisingly simple changes. I don't tell you these stories to promise miracles. I tell them because the body's ability to heal and rebuild is far greater than most people realize, even in our 60s and beyond. Muscle still listens and responds to what we give it: our food, our movement, our sleep, and the way we care for our circulation. Think back to when you were younger, how quickly bruises faded, how aches disappeared almost overnight. That repair system is slower now, yes, but it's not gone. It just needs the right signal to wake up again. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to send that signal using everyday foods, simple habits, and proven science. No complicated diets, no overpriced supplements. Just practical, real things you can start right where you are. But before we go on, I want you to pause and ask yourself, have you noticed these changes in your own body? Do you get winded climbing stairs? Do your legs tremble when you stand up? Or do you stop halfway down the hall to catch your breath? This isn't weakness of character. It's your body asking for help. And the good news is, there's a way to answer that call. Do you remember when I said that strength can return? I want to begin with a familiar image, a bunch of red grapes resting quietly in the fridge. You might think of them as just dessert, but beneath that thin skin is a tiny repair shop for your muscles. Red grapes contain a compound called resveratrol. It may sound unfamiliar, but think of it as a quiet crew cleaning the rust from each muscle cell, sweeping away free radicals and awakening energy from within. I think of Mr. Harris, 72, a retired electrical engineer who used to enjoy evening walks. But for a whole year, he gave them up because after just a few hundred yards, he'd be out of breath, legs trembling. We started with very small steps, adding a bowl of red grapes to his lunch, making sure he stayed hydrated so blood could nourish his muscles better. A month later, he called me, his voice excited. "Doctor, I just walked the whole park loop." No more gasping for air. I still remember the emotion in his eyes when he came back, like a piece of youth rediscovered. Sometimes what you need isn't heavy exercise or expensive supplements. It's restoring circulation in the environment your muscles live in. I've seen so many people simply hydrate well, add antioxidant-rich fruits, and watch their blood flow improve. Suddenly, muscles begin to get oxygen and nutrients again. It sounds simple, but it changes lives. And then there's something you might think of only as a garnish, but that's surprisingly powerful. Padron peppers. Don't worry about heat. They're almost never spicy, just warmly flavorful. Inside, though, they pack vitamin C levels far beyond your daily needs, fueling collagen, the glue that holds your muscles and joints strong. Linda, 69, a patient who loved tending flowers, used to wake each morning complaining about stiff knees and aching shoulders. I suggested she try sautéing a few padron peppers with olive oil and a sprinkle of turmeric. A month later, she messaged me, "Doctor, my knees don't ache when I water the garden now, and I'm sleeping better." Have you ever wondered why some people your age still climb stairs or garden with ease while you feel limited? Much of the answer lies in collagen and blood flow. Two things padron peppers help revive. Then there's something many overlook because it seems too simple. Prunes. People think of them only for digestion, but they're actually quiet muscle metronomes. Rich in potassium, vitamin K, and anti-inflammatory compounds, prunes help muscles contract and relax smoothly, easing nighttime cramps that many in their 60s and 70s silently endure. I remember Carol, 68, who came to me exhausted from waking with painful calf spasms. We started with an easy habit, soaking a few prunes overnight and drinking both the fruit and water each morning. 6 weeks later, she returned and said, "I sleep straight through now. No more cramps." Small, yes, but one peaceful night's sleep lets the body repair better than 1,000 pills. And I want to emphasize this. Sleep is the free gym you already own. During deep sleep, growth hormone surges and repairs the tiny muscle fibers torn during the day. Yet I see so many older adults who eat well and move often but still feel weak because their nights are restless. Sometimes just adding magnesium-rich foods like beans, staying hydrated, and turning off screens before bed can preserve strength longer than you'd imagine. Another overlooked secret is the partnership between beans and whole grains. Beans alone don't have the perfect amino acid balance, but when paired with brown rice, quinoa, or oats, they form a complete protein, like building a house with both bricks and cement. I've taught countless patients how to turn familiar meals into therapy. A bowl of brown rice with lentils, drizzled with olive oil and topped with greens. No complicated recipe, yet after a few months their grip strength and muscle mass tests improved measurably. I want you to picture this. Every time you choose grapes instead of sweets, toss a few padron peppers into dinner or warm a bowl of beans. You're sending your body a message. I still want to be strong. I'm not done yet. And your body, even after 6 or 7 decades, still knows how to respond. It rebuilds slowly but surely, fiber by fiber, step by step. You might wonder, can something this simple really change my health? I've seen enough to answer, yes, because the secret isn't perfection, it's consistency. A little bit each day, week after week, builds a new body, stronger, more capable, and freer. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply waiting for your signal to rebuild. And that signal can be as simple as tonight's meal. A handful of grapes, a few padron peppers, some prunes, or a comforting bowl of beans. You can begin right now. No magic, no expensive cure, because you are the magic your body has been waiting for. You see, strength doesn't disappear just because we grow older. It only goes quiet, waiting to be awakened. Your muscles still have the ability to rebuild, your circulation can still improve, and your cells are still listening to every signal you send through the way you eat and live each day. I know the deepest fear for many isn't simply aging, it's losing independence. It's the thought of one day not being able to get out of bed on your own, not carrying a grocery bag, needing your children or grandchildren for the smallest tasks. But I've also seen the radiant faces of patients coming back to my office, telling me they're walking farther, climbing stairs with less pain, moving with confidence again, all because they started with the simplest of steps. You don't have to change everything at once. Just start with one small action, maybe a bowl of beans at dinner, a handful of red grapes instead of sweets, or the habit of staying hydrated and getting better sleep. This week, try a few gentle resistance moves. Lift a water bottle. Stand and sit from a chair a few times each day. These may seem small, but done day by day, week by week, year by year, they rebuild the very foundation of your vitality. And I want you to remember this. Your body is worthy of love and care at every age. It hasn't given up on you, so don't give up on it. If what I've shared today resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What worries you most about muscle health? Or what small habit have you found helps you stay strong? Share your story. You might inspire someone else who's searching for hope. And don't forget to hit like if this video has helped you and subscribe so we can keep walking together on this journey, finding simple, science-backed ways to live stronger, healthier, and more free each day. Being 60, 70, or even 80 is not the finish line. It's a new chapter, one where you can keep writing your story with strength, independence, and the joy of moving freely. And that journey can begin tonight with your very next meal.